Check, check, check. 1 2 1 2 Vader Games in the building. Yes, this is Vader Games TV. This is another episode of 115. One question, 15 minutes. Let me make sure I adjust this so everything is nice and clean. You know what it is. You know what it is. Conversation time. Let me get this thing lined up. So everything's proper. I got to point this out. Manchester City, level of dominance. Obviously, with this level of dominance comes some criticism, some conversations, some putting things into context. But what's interesting is for the third season now, because last season was kind of a dip, but for the third season now, you have City and Arsenal chasing a title. And you have the conversation about who would one prefer from a rival standpoint, neutral standpoint, right? I'm going to discuss that, but I'm also going to bring in some historical facts, some things that we need to keep in mind, because one thing that happens, history does tend to repeat itself when history is forgotten. All right? So I'm going to bring a few things up. We're going to have a nice conversation. First things first, my peoples come first. My people, those that are here, no longer here, always thought of and remembered. I want to appreciate everybody in the building. You know what you got to do. Simple. You're here, hit the like button. You're new, subscribe. It's that easy. It's that easy. All right. I'm going to ask you a few times respectfully, but if you can do that, much appreciated. Listen, every show, I got to show love. I got to show love in the comments. I got to, who is representing? Who's there showing that support? Who's there? Vader Games, I got you. Let me help you with the algorithm. Let me help you with the show. I'm showing some support. Very first in the building. And I'm surprised. The very first in the building happens to be my girl Vanessa's in the building. Real Madrid fan. Okay, Vanessa. It looks like there's going to be a collision. Looks like Real and City are going to see each other again, but you go on to say, hey Vader, I just want to say, I know I'm a Madrid fan, respect to you. I mean, we happen to be rivals, but respect to you. But I respect City a lot, and if we get each other, it's whoever wins advance. If we get each other, it's going to be a mutual respect. It's going to be winner goes on. I think there's going to be a high probability of, if we do face each other, and whoever comes out of there in terms of potential strong favorites because of the matchup, because of the form that's required to defeat one another. I'm with you. It's gonna be all respectful. My guy TJ Warren TV, hit the likes, guys, and you can do it, guys. Wait, you can do it. Hit the like, guys. You can do it, guys. All right, hit the like, guys. You can do it. All right, I think that's what my man means. Appreciate it. TJ's obviously an op. We have our battles. We have our conversations in terms of who's right, who's wrong. I'll let you guys decide on who is the majority correct one amongst the two of us, but that's for another time. Listen, Dom, what it do? Yo, Vader, listen, appreciate it in the mix. Early. Now, I see others in the comments. Ash, I got you. Wait. Nabar, what's going on here? Criminal? What? Nah, that ain't right. That's unjust. That's not fair. I don't like that. Yo, big up, lads. You know what it is. The Innovator. I like the name. Let me see who else I got to add to the mix. Y'all continue. Yo, large up. I see y'all coming in here quick. Arteta Hate University. I like the name. Aziz, what it do? Vader threw on Madrid players and their managers already saying they get City. I'm tired, these men. Listen, UEFA know what they're doing. All right? Shout out to Staff. He's got a great sound effect with regards to money. UEFA know. They know how to print money. They know where the eyes are. They know where the attention is. They know where the storylines are. It's gonna be City, Real Madrid, just Book it. Book it. You know what it is. Vanessa. Vinny is on fire. Vinny is on fire. Vinny and Mateus Nunes is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. And Vinny's looking good. Vanessa, I don't know if you like this, but Vinny's looking good without Mbappe in the 9. I Vinny's looking good without Mbappe in the 9. I don't know how you feel about that. Let me know how you feel. What's really causing this good a form? Is it him fighting against what was said to him and obviously having a chip on his shoulder with Benfica? What might it be? Let me know. Listen, Ash, much appreciated. Again, Abby, quality. All right, what we got? Vanessa? Aziz, it's because City versus Madrid is guaranteed to always happen. It's guaranteed to always entertain. That's why. It's inevitable. Marlon, who was the last one at the bottom? I can't see. West Bromwich. West Brom is at the very bottom. Actually, let me move my, you know what? Good looking out. Let me do this. We'll do that. I'll remove the title. Let me speak on it before I remove it. All right. Let me star your comment and let me do this. It's West Brom at the bottom. But let me say this. This show, 115, one question, 50 minutes. Y'all in here. We're going to have a nice conversation. I'm going to take my time with it. Shout out to Troops. I'm going to take my time with it and we're going to have a nice conversation. Also, as we do that, I'm going to be pointing out a few things on why I believe, and others could disagree, but on why I believe there's Manchester City fatigue with regards to the winning that's been happening in the Prem. All right. There, obviously, you see it. It comes across the timeline, the number of trophies won with Pep being here, but not only that, the number of trophies won since the takeover or what City's been. And I need to emphasize that the human desire to see a different winner, to see someone else, is real. Like, psychologically, that's a real thing. We're not making this up. Human nature. This, like, let me see something new. You'll hear it all the time. Some of the content creators that you happen to enjoy and tune into, you'll hear them. Oh, what's good for business? What's good for content? What's good to talk about, right? They want something new. They want something different. And they don't hide from it. There is a real thing, winning fatigue. And in this case, I'm going to speak on why Manchester City winning fatigue is real and why it's happening. You see the graphic. This graphic is going to be changing throughout the conversation, throughout the show. I'm going to take why Manchester City winning fatigue is real. Let me take that off screen, make that a little easier so that you can see the bottom of it. I'm not going to make it larger because I don't want YouTube to do anything funky with it. So we'll do that. Let me adjust myself a little bit. So you can see from this graphic, it'll show the winner and the runner-up. All right. This happens to be 1930. 1930. All right. We're not going to disrespect history. We're not going to disrespect the past. If you look closely, listen, Platinum's here. Don't let anyone belittle you for spending more years on this beautiful green earth than someone else. All right. I pray for everyone to live a long, healthy life. That's what you should be striving for. All right. Now, because of that, we go back, and obviously, I'm not expecting anyone in the comments, anybody in the viewers, to be from the 1930s. I'm not expecting any of that, but I do want to have a balanced conversation. I see my man, Cutie Way Martin in the building, reminding you guys to smash the likes button. You know what it is. Vanessa's out here as well. Aziz, listen, we go back, and quickly, if you can see from the graphic, put this large on your screen. If you're watching it on a smart TV, if you happen to be on the computer, just, enlarge it. If you happen to be on the phone, sorry for you. But at this time, 1930, Aston Villa, six English titles. Sunderland 5, Liverpool 4, Newcastle 4. You got to respect it, all right? And obviously you trickle down, even if you want to go so far down. By the 1930, you had Manchester with 2, all right? Now, when we have the conversation about big club, when when people want to talk about legacies, they want to talk about earning it, they want to talk about getting to a certain point. It all depends on when you want to pick when it's legitimized, when the being big is accounted for. It all depends on when you want to do that, right? If you were to quickly tally up all of the titles that have won, all of those English titles that have won, and then you want to look and say, you know what? United weren't a big club. 1930s United weren't a big club. Is that a fair comment? Is that justified? I mean, I could quickly do this and remind you on when this all started. We can do that. We can go back and I can remind you to when it all started. What point in time in history, in the timeline, are you going to say a big club is a big club? All right, I'm just asking that, and this is also a conversation that I want to have with City fans in terms of we need to all be calm. We don't need to have these conversations about fighting against so and so, about we're legitimate, big club that, big club this. We deserve to be talked about. Hey, you guys make the rules on who's a big club, who's not. I just know that if you want to talk about clubs with history, dead all that. Don't try to talk down to my club and say my club doesn't have history. If you want to talk about when did my club start being dominant, I'll own that. I'll own it from a dominant standpoint. That was me as a grown man when I saw City be dominant. But that has nothing to do when you want to have the conversation with regards to history, right? When you want to have the conversation about big club, when does the big club stamp get stamped? That's what I want to ask. I see my man Mankini Way in the building. Let me see. He goes, "This is so my wheelhouse. Trust me, some of the new age fans have no idea about the huge teams down in lower leagues." Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Martin. And I'm gonna go through this a little bit. If you happen to be free, let me know in the chat. I'll shoot you out the link. But this is what I want to point out. And any elders, I would encourage anybody in the chat, elders that happen to be on YouTube, happen to enjoy this conversation, want to give a perspective, send it out. Send it out, and then we can I can loop them back in. I don't want this to be a one-off show. I would actually like this to something to be revisited. Ash goes, RIP to Sheffield's Wednesday. No worries, Martin. Take your time. No rush. This is what I want to get at. 1890. Let's do 10 years. All right. 10 years. 10 years. 10 years of the league being in existence. Who's a big club? Is that what we're trying to do? Who's a big club? Who's got history? Who can have those conversations about you ain't nothing, what you've done? All right. All right. Should we do another decade? What happens a decade later? What happens a decade later? Or a conversation happen? Are we still having that conversation? When did you exist? When were you relevant? What have you done? Are Aston Villa fans at this time? Are Sunderland fans at this time? Are they talking down? Are they talking down to a Sheffield? Are they talking down to a United? This is what I'm bringing this all up because I want to start at the beginning. Because if you look at clubs are going to have their moments. There's no divine right for clubs to remain at the top or be at the top. Because again, look at the number of titles Aston Villa has. 2 decades of the English league, right? 2 decades taking place. Let's go. Let's fast forward. Let me get my sound effects as well. Let's go another 10. Oh, look at this. What the heck is this? Let me turn this off. Trash. And I gotta mute this. That's messing up. See, they're trying to get me. They're trying to get me to subscribe to YouTube Premium. It's not happening. It's not happening. I don't care what you do. All right, let me put that back on screen. 1920. And I started the show with 1930, all right? I started the show with 1930, and I picked that date in particular for a reason, right? We're going decade by decade, all right? So 1890, the start. 1890 to start, and now we get here. And look, Aston Villa is still mad dominant. Look at a couple twos. But obviously, Aston's going to talk heavy. Sunderland talking heavy. I happen to believe that you can have your history start early, history start late, but the fact that you have history is something that no other fan can take away. Because these clubs, if Everton want to talk about, Everton fans want to talk about how long they've been around, how early they've been winning, what they've been, okay, that's fine. But even nowadays, let's be real. How many fans are really saying, you know what, in terms of threat, in terms of contention to win, in terms of look at the level of success that they can achieve right now, Everton aren't in that conversation, right? There would probably be a encouragement to, well, unless you're a Liverpool fan, but there would be an encouragement to, hey, let's see Everton get back into winning ways. All right. Now we fast forward another, so I can keep this on. 1930. Aston Villa been staying at the top in terms of titles. Been staying at the top. Sunderland as well. But you see now, what are we? 4 decades in now? 4 decades, Liverpool creeping in there. They've now added 2 to what they added 2 to the 2 that they had previously. Newcastle up in there. You still got United only with 2. I say only. You got United only with 2. Let's do this again. Wait, why is it fast forwarding so much? Let me do this slower. Oh, it gives me a jump. Oh, yeah. it gives a big jump. It gives a big jump. But let me look at this. Look at this. We go back to the 30. 1930. 1930, Arsenal don't have any. 1930, Arsenal don't have any English titles. 1931, they win their first. 1932, they're runner-ups to Everton. 1933, Arsenal win another one. I know I'm blocking it. 1934, Arsenal win another one. 1935, Arsenal win 3 in a row. 3 in a row. 1930. I didn't mean for that to happen. 1930s, Arsenal win 3 in a row. Now, they have their level of dominance, right? Really congested. Runner-ups and some winning happening there. Were they a big club before winning? Did they have any type of history beforehand? Of course they did. Of course they had history despite not winning. It's a club that's pursuing to win greatness, pursuing to be in the mix, and they then went on to win it. If we look at this tally by 1936, again, I'm not going to disrespect back in the day, because you got to have some point in time when things start off. You know what? I didn't even start the clock on my thing. My bad. It's supposed to be 115. But I'm going to go through this and then we're going to have the conversation. Because I do want to talk about Manchester City winning and the winning fatigue. And I'm going to devote a quality 50 minutes. We're going to have a good conversation, all of you in the chat. But see how, Ash, I see you put the... See, when you look at how clubs may, quote unquote, not have the level of success, but obviously are working towards it, and then they're able to achieve it. It's not to, I wouldn't diminish any club that's on the pursuit of winning. I wouldn't also diminish any club that were once winning and have fallen off. Because as you can see, when we go through this from the beginning of time, you're going to have clubs that were in the mix like that, that were steady in terms of runner-up, steady in terms of challenging, steady in terms of actually being in the collection of the majority of titles won in the English league. And then there is a fall off, there is a drop, there is a fall from glory, one might say. But you look at where Arsenal are at. Aston Villa, I mentioned it, for what, 4 decades? Aston Villa top of the hill in terms of number of titles. And then, bam, 3 years, 4 years in terms of compact fight. You see Arsenal, boom, right to the top. Right? Okay? I'm being balanced here. I'm being balanced. We're seeing how Arsenal didn't quite have those trophies like that. And obviously, they skyrocket up. If I were to talk about every club and what they won the season, it'd be long. But you can see from a time-lapse standpoint how things can go from not, quote-unquote, not being relevant to then winning and then being relevant because you got the trophy, you got the hardware to then discuss and talk about. All right? Now, let me do this. Sunderland win. Ooh. What? Manchester City, 1937. I mean, is that a long time ago? Arsenal fans, is that a long time ago? 1937 first Prem. Is that to be at the table, to be one of those, to have an English title? Is that a long time ago? Oh, my man, I'm gonna send a link. I did not send a link, but I'm gonna send the link. Let me do that. Appropriate now that it's Manchester City. Let me send the link. Hold on. Hope y'all are having a good time with this one. Let me get here. Click on this bad boy. I wonder what. There's got to be a better way for me to save this thing. Now, I wonder what kind of mood this guest is going to be in. Because he's been fired up. He's been fired up lately. So I wonder if we're going to be getting the chill version or the, you know what, I'm tired of the nonsense version. But let me send out the link. And this is one of those where I would also enjoy, yes, I do have the platinums, but I would also enjoy having the conversation with, when I say elder, I mean like elder. I mean like grandfather age. That's where I would also enjoy some of these conversations with regards to, you know, the relevance or how fans were back then, what the conversation was, how the rivalry was discussed, right? So I sent out the link, but this is what I want to point out, right? To talk about not being relevant, not having history, you go back and you see that Manchester City had their first English title in 1937, right? There's several clubs that hadn't won yet or had only won 2, right? If we're going to talk rivalry, you look at Manchester United, they only have 2 at this standpoint. When did their winning kind of spike? We saw Arsenal's winning spike 1930s, right? We're winning in close succession. I think it's just interesting on how some want to have the narrative, on how some want to speak about winning club's history. I see Aziz in the building. Aziz takes a shot, so let me do it appropriate.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Aziz asks, where is world champ Chelsea? Aziz, that's unnecessary. Unnecessary roughness. We did not need that right now. I know unnecessary roughness is American football, but you see where I'm getting at. The innovator goes, I thought Little City don't have history. This is it. That's the narrative. That's the myth. That's what's pushed, right? Look at little old City having 1 Prem to United's 2. And they want to talk about how the league was built off of a small list of clubs. They want to talk about TV deals should have been proposed or were proposed to predominantly, the majority was to be given to two clubs, Liverpool and United, because of a moment in time that was built off time before them. This is where the narrative, this is where, again, I got a humble platform. I'm speaking to, 15 people at this present moment. The number of people that tune in and catch me later, I'm much appreciative of my numbers. I don't have the voice to carry and talk to thousands, but the emphasis, the agendas, the narratives, and I get it. You're a fan of your club. You're going to speak and see it your own way. The one thing I just call BS on is this non-bias, neutral talk, which is false. It's not neutral. It's heavy layered in bias, and you can hear it. You can hear it heavily. What I want to emphasize is, listen, clubs have established themselves because of what they were able to do, because of moments in time. They were already opportunistic. They had things fall their way. Maybe they got the money early compared to other clubs that didn't get the money at the time, and they did what most do. When you have an advantage, when you're able to collect the better talent, you emphasize that and you win. It happens at some clubs sooner than others. Is that a disrespect? Is that a slight with regards to ambition? No. Is that a slight with regards to desire to win? No. But you see how things kind of fall into place. 1937, City's first English title. And you look at the list of clubs before them that were all supposed to be the more historic clubs. Okay, when they say historic clubs, they mean the ones that were winning and had the success earlier than others. Let me see what's going on. Let me see y'all in the comments. Ash goes, they hate us because of the oil money. Ash, that is such a simple sentence, and it is so right. They hate us because of the ability to compete, and they label it oil money when the other clubs got their money, right? Money's money. Other clubs that got their winning, they got the money and they ran with it. So they're going to say, not until City got their oil money. Well, not until you got your bankers' money, or not until you got your heavily successful or millionaires at the time investment. Stop this. Yo, big up. Listen, you know what it is. You know what it is. Aziz, Vader, they still say nobody cares about City. Don't make sense at all. It doesn't. It doesn't. It's an oxymoron. It is a false statement each and every time. Guys, I heard this. Martin was on a show. Martin and I were on a show. He had me on his show yesterday. And he talked about how he was on a panel and he was listening to like some City conversations or something like that. And then it had me go back to kind of watch things. And I learned, so I'm going to say this. Listen, good dude. Judge Mo made mention that he kind of starts his day. He's got a channel full time. That's what he does, right? That's his livelihood. So he was privy to say, he'll start and he'll do a quick, in this day and age with AI, he'll do a quick search like most trending topic or most trending news on Manchester City, right? So he'll do that. And the AI will populate, boom. The AI populates 115 or punishments or drop points. When City are in a position to make things uncomfortable for the Arsenal title win this season, they bring up the off the pitch stuff. They bring up the distraction talk. They don't bring up the football talk. They don't bring up the change in form or the Pep's use of players or even tactics. They don't bring that up. It's the off the pitch stuff because again, how they need to talk about Manchester City is from a they got to devalue it in a way because, and again, it ties back to this whole topic because of the Manchester winning portion of it. When we do show that we're winning this league, trust me, when we show that we're gonna win this league, the conversation's gonna be City are only here because of their spending. City are here because no one can compete and do what they do. That's where it's gonna go. That's where it's gonna go. Let me try to catch up with these comments. Apologies. Where did I fall off here? West goes, Vader, why have you started running this victim streams preemptively, despite the fact that we are winning the league? I'll go further. We are walking this league. I'm not doing the victim streams. This is if it sounds like I'm doing the victim. If it sounds like I'm having a victim approach, I'll continue to refine this. What I'm trying to emphasize is City are doing this despite, right? So let me give you an example. I could have let me use this actually. We could understand that one person is colorblind. Okay? Actually, no, that's not a good one. That's not a good one. I want to use an example where we know for a fact, and this is why I mentioned it early in the show, we know for a fact that there's a point of it's too much already. We've had enough. We've seen this storyline before. We're accustomed, and I see my man backstage, I'm going to bring him forward. We've seen this play out already. We want something new. We want something refreshed, right? This is not a victim thing. This is not like, oh, woe is me. We're never going to be able to do it. Everything's stacked against us. It's understand that this is what the energy is. Understand that this is what the perspective is. And I say this because I want to tie it back to history. And as I continue on, Wes, I want to bring it back to when there was that level of dominance from other clubs. And this is where if I had, because the unk, right? Unk is used often. I wish there was the grandpa. If we were able to have the grandpa chill, mad cool, being able to do the YouTube thing, setting up the vid cam or whatever, or not even the vid cam, just being their audio and being like, listen, young Vader, I would be considered young Vader to grandpa. But grandpa would be like, let me tell you, when Liverpool had their dominance, there was, hey, who's gonna knock them off the perch? We want to see someone take these guys down, right? There was a time where that happened. Let me bring my guest who's backstage patiently waiting. I'm very interested to hear what he has to say. And let me put a star in these comments. I'm going to do my best to catch back up and put these comments on screen. You know how it kind of gets when I'm in the conversation mode. But let me bring my man, Martin, the Mancunian way, in the building. How you doing, Martin? What are you saying?
Good evening, host with the most.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Good. You deserve some cheers. Welcome to the show.
I'm really losing patience on that soundboard.
I'm trying to use it a little more modestly. I'm
You're
picking
like
my
a
moment.
kid with a new toy.
I do.
You're like
I love
City
it.
with a new signing.
I do love it. There's these gunshot effects that I actually enjoy as well. But let me say this. Appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you something nice to enjoy. Let me put this on screen. Let me find it for you. I did that for you, Martin. Thank you for being on the show.
You can hear my voice.
I can hear you. I can hear you strong in there. You see what the convo is all about. People in the chat are saying big up, large up.
No, big up chat.
I'm giving, and I was giving a little bit of, and again, in my usual way. Obviously, I'm a little long winded, taking my time with it. Shout out to troops. Oh, you know what? I gotta pause the show. I happen to see a particular person in the chat. I want to say, listen, large up each and every time. My gal Rose is in the building. She goes, "Hey Vader, host with the most," as Martin said. Thank you so very much. I'm going to do my best not to blush. I'm going to continue on the show. Rose, thank you for being a part of the show. Hit that like button. Good looking out. I see y'all. New York in the building. New York Sky Blue. I see Paul in the building. MCFC. Darsh in the building. Listen, thank you all so very much. We're going to have the convo. I got Martin on here. And in my usual long-winded way, long storyteller type way, I was starting at the beginning when English League kicked off, who was winning what. We're now at 1937, who so happens to be Manchester City's first English title won. And at this time, United had only won 2 themselves. Obviously, Arsenal did a madness, winning 3 back-to-back in the 1930s, and they have 4. But you had Aston Villa that were steady at the top with the most number of English titles, and obviously Sunderland. But I'm starting here because my thing, and I don't know if you agree, but my thing is I'm seeing, like what has happened in past years in the history, is the team that's been winning so much being the team that's most people are being tired of seeing winning. Most people are like, all right, let's switch this up. Let's see something new. And I'm getting accused of kind of taking the victim mentality or trying to spin a narrative that isn't a real one. In your experience, is there not winning fatigue for clubs that have been dominant for a long time?
I think if you are a fan of that club and you're at that club, no, I don't think there is winning fatigue.
Okay, I agree.
I think the fatigue comes from everyone else.
Yes. So let me clarify this. Let me clarify this, everybody in the chat. When I speak on winning fatigue, I am not saying that fans of
You're not saying
club,
you're bored of it. You're bored of it.
I'm not saying that fans of that club are tired of winning. They're like, I'm bored of this. No, I'm saying that the quote unquote neutral, that the rival, those that are out there not a part of the winning, are, you know what, as a neutral quote unquote, or as a rival, as the club that's not winning, seeing the same club win all the time, that gets boring. I want to see something new. That's where I'm getting at with regards to the winning fatigue. It was not internal, it was external. And I have to say, you look at even the comment with regards to Sir Alex Ferguson before he was knighted. Before Sir Alex Ferguson was Sir Alex Ferguson, and he was just Alex Ferguson, he said he wanted to knock Liverpool off that perch. Why? Because of the level of success, the level of dominance that Liverpool
Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah, you're nice and clear.
Can I just read a few things out?
Please.
Just a few little facts on Manchester City. Because I hear about all this City were a nothing club, and I'll come to the crux of my argument in a minute.
Okay, yeah? I'm with you. Yep.
Now, we initially got going in 1880, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
As St. Mark's Church, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So, from the football team in 1880. So, it wasn't even 1894. It was 1880.
True.
There's 14 years missed. So, that was before Arsenal or anyone else were even a twinkle in Mama's eye, yeah?
Okay.
We then go on. So obviously, I don't want to go into it all, but 1934. I'll just give you some highlights. 1934, City record crowd 84,569 recorded at Main Road. Still not beaten to this day in their own stadium. Yeah.
Martin, can I use the soundboard for that, please?
Yeah, you can be.
It's my show, and I got to ask this guy if I can use my soundboard. See what we've gotten to. All right, okay, continue.
Yeah. 1937, City win the league for the first time. 1934, they also lift the FA Cup, beating Portsmouth 2-1. Right. So obviously there was a wartime then in between, so you got to be a little bit, in between. So the 50s. Now, this is where 1955, City lose to Newcastle in the 55 FA Cup final. So there's one FA Cup final, yeah?
Okay.
We'd already won it, by the way. 1956, they play their second successive FA Cup final, and we beat Birmingham 3-1.
Okay, yep.
Right? Then we're into the 60s. Yeah? So, yeah, we do get relegated. I admit that. Yeah, but we did in 1968, we won the league again, beating Newcastle up at their ground for a second time. Yeah. And then we also beat Leicester City to win the FA Cup in 1969. So there's another cup, another league. 76, we beat Newcastle 2-1. The overhead kick from Dennis Stewart. Everyone should remember that. Long grain in the heads. We beat Newcastle 2-1 to win the League Cup. 1979, we also broke the Chancellor record, signing Steve Davler. Yeah. Just under 1.5 million. So we also then, in 74, we lost the League Cup final to Wolves. So there's another cup final. In 1970, we completed, 69-70, we completed the domestic and European Cup double. First team to ever do it. Winning the European Cup Winners' Cup and the League Cup in the same season. Yep. So that's the 70s. So in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, City have always had success, yeah? 81, we reached another cup final. Obviously, we got beat. Everyone remember it, the Ricky Beer.
So, Martin, as you say that, as you say that, there's success. And this is why the conversation about history is something that is heavily pushed by rivals, but lacking in fact. But if they want to have the conversation about dominance, right? We had our moments, but the level of dominance wasn't there. And obviously, to be relegated, which many clubs have been relegated, by the way, but to be relegated is a smidge, is a smudge, is a poor time with regards to the club, but it's not unique to only Manchester City.
Man United have been relegated. Liverpool have been relegated. Don't know why we're doing all this thing of relegations. But my point is, what's happened is in football is football has suddenly become the Premier League and nothing else. So when you are talking, see, it also depends which conversation you're having this with. If you're having this conversation with the United and Liverpool fan, they're allowed to talk about their history. Only certain aspects of their history, because they conveniently forget some other parts of their history. They forget about the relegations, they forget about losing in cup finals, they forget about not winning leagues. Because, by the way, in this era as well, City were finishing runners-up in the league as well. Because I remember I watched a documentary once, and many will say, former City player, by the way, the late, great Don Reaver.
Okay.
Leeds United. Leeds United were one of the dominant team in the 70s. And everyone forgot that it was Manchester City, Malcolm Allison and John Mercer's Manchester City, chasing that Don Revie team.
Falling short, but yeah.
But no, but that's like this great Arsenal team or this City team falling short to the winners.
Yeah.
Still a good team.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So the thing what's happened is City, because they went into the 90s and the early 2000s and were up and down like a bit of a yo-yo. Everyone's made that our whole history. You never hear anyone talk about the Sir Matt Busby playing for Manchester City. You never talk about Don Revie playing for City. I can go through Brian Kidd, who's a United legend, playing for Manchester City. I can go through so many, Colin Bell, Francis Lee. No one talks about them because all they want to talk about is them. Because what people don't realise is what they're saying, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, etc. They come out and they say, I want someone new to win the league. It's boring for City to keep winning the league. But they're not saying I want Wolves to win the league. They're not saying I want Fulham to win the league. What they're saying is, because that's new, that's the new.
Yeah.
What they're saying is they want Arsenal, United, or Liverpool to win the league. They want it to go back to the way it was because that's the time they remember. They remember in their tiny little minds that when they were growing up, the ribbons on the trophy were red and nothing else. So I don't believe all this BS of I just want something new. When Leicester City won the league, nobody moaned. That was something new. Everyone was happy for him.
Yeah.
I don't hear people going, you know what, wouldn't mind a bit of a Leicester City. No one's saying, Aston Villa, wouldn't mind them winning a league. They all dismiss Villa.
Yeah. It's not encouraged. But I think this is where I wanted to get at, right? I understand that people are going to take their moments in time, their moments in history, and say, at this time, this is when relevancy starts. At this time, this is when big clubs are established or when winners are considered or all of that. I get it. So again, I paused it. I rewound it a little bit on this timeline just to show you, because the joke was said, I think it was Ash. Ash asked, where's world champions Chelsea, right? Chelsea's first English title, 1955. Decades of this English league.
I'm going to tell you something now. In the late 80s and the early 90s, because I went, Stamford Bridge, have a look at Chelsea's attendances in 1992.
Don't do that, Martin. Don't do that.
No, but why we got to erase our history, but we don't ignore theirs?
No, but the reason why I say don't do that is we can, how do I put it?
Manchester City were pulling in bigger crowds.
I know
in the Championship than half the Premier League were when we were in it.
So this is the biggest flex that we as fans don't do enough of, because it's one thing, and I also know on how rivals might want to spin it and flip it on us, but imagine the number or the ton of support, the incredible support that you have when you're not the dominant club yet. Like, look at, as you emphasize, the number of people that were coming in, that were putting their butts in seats, that were dealing with the rain, with the weather, showing to support City when City weren't even collecting trophies like that, right? So it's an amazing flex, I think, and the reason why I say don't do that is because I don't think we need to shoot back. I just want to point out, and again, I'm trying to be as neutral as I can.
See, mate, can I disagree with you on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is part of the problem. We don't shoot back enough.
Okay.
We've sat in that little corner and we've kept quiet.
Yeah.
We've kept quiet for too long.
They're agreeing.
We've allowed these haters, whatever. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say it better. Call me out, cancel me, whatever you want to do. I'm going to say it.
Whoa. Okay.
Manchester City's owners don't fit the criteria for the Premier League. And for a lot of these fans.
I'm not mad at that.
Tell me
I'm
I'm wrong.
No, I'm not asking
Tell me
permission.
I'm wrong.
I'm just
When
using my sample.
Liverpool and United were doing parties and Twitter spaces over Sheikh, you know what, and Liverpool begging for the guitarists to go in.
Yeah.
Weird that, isn't it?
It's so we know that fans being hypocrites is nothing new. The talking points about sports washing, and at the same time you're going to have those same people complaining or arguing or stating that it's sports washing that our owners are trying to do, but then they're going
It's
to
xenophobic at worst. It's xenophobic at worst, bordering into racism. That is what I genuinely do believe. I believe our owners, where they're from in the world, don't fit the Premier League model, don't fit the Premier League fan base. They don't like it. They don't like competition. And like I said to you, I've just said it to you 10 minutes ago. It's not something new they want, these rivals. Arsenal, United, if Arsenal win the league, good for the Premier League. United win the league, good for the Premier League. Chelsea win the league, not so much, but it's not too bad. Liverpool win the Premier League, it's great. So when they say something new, they don't mean something new. What they want is they want to go back to the old rhetoric as it was in the 90s and the 2000s when the ribbons were red and everyone was in their little box and no one was challenging the great mighty red cartel.
That's true.
The red cartel, people don't understand where the red cartel quote came from. The red cartel isn't just a city thing. That is known. That is known at Newcastle, at West Ham, at Aston Villa. That is known everywhere as a red cartel. Every single person outside of the red clubs call it a red cartel. The reason they call it that is because they have the biggest swaying of votes in this situation. Why? Because it goes back to the old G14. The old G14 was the European superpowers had all the voting rights and they dictated what went out. And United and Liverpool and Arsenal were all included in that. City weren't. Chelsea weren't. Villa weren't. What we did is we all went in and we broke their thing. Yes, we won the lottery. No doubt about it. But I don't hear about Arsenal's controversies with George Graham and bungs on transfers. I don't hear about. Should we take away Arsenal's 1989 title?
No. I mean, I see the point with regards to.
See how far back are we going here?
Yeah, exactly. With regards to the legitimacy or the morality.
Sorry, I'm outside the hospital, mate. So if you hear noise, I'm outside the hospital.
Okay. No worries. All good. No, but Martin's bringing up important points with regards to just the inconsistency that we see in terms of how one ownership is viewed, how incoming potential new ownership is then championed or encouraged and wanted. It's all garbage. It's all garbage.
But they say stuff like your wealth wasn't earned. Well, how was United's wealth given?
But this is when
how was Liverpool's wealth given?
But you know what I want us to stop doing?
Into these stuff?
But Martin, I got to call you out on this, and I need you to try to adjust on how you say this, because many City fans will say, "Yeah, we won the lottery." I don't agree with if we won the lottery. Previous clubs that got the influx of money and ambitious owners, they won the lottery too.
No, mate, I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with an owner buying a football club and injecting. I don't have a problem with that.
No, I know what you're saying. But when we kind of quickly and we affirm and we say, yeah, we won the lottery, we make it sound like we won the lottery and they didn't. We make it seem like, oh yeah, we were fortunate to get owners that had the motivation and wanted to have City get into winning ways. That's no different than those other clubs whenever that influx of money happened, they won the lottery too. That's what I want to. That's what. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He said it, didn't he? What's his name at United?
Which one?
The rat. What's he called? Oh, his name's gone out my head.
The rat.
Yeah, the guy who's in charge of Ineos, in charge of United.
Oh, Ratcliffe, Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah. What did he say in an interview? He come out in an interview about 6 months, 7 months ago. And have you noticed this got swept under the carpet very quickly? And it's actually out there for everyone to go and see. He said, when I bought United, I was under the belief there was a voting pecking order in this.
I do remember him saying that.
Did you?
Yeah, I remember.
And what did he mean? United, Liverpool, Arsenal, we do the voting. That was right of his own mouth. I was under the belief there was a pecking order of voting. So why? And have you noticed the media never picked up on it? No YouTuber picked up on it. Nobody said a dicky bird.
We got to make that. That's got to be a meme. That's got to be one of those still and caption what he said, because that can't be forgotten. I'm glad you reminded us of that. Why has it been forgotten? If Shane Mansour had said that, Jesus Christ. That's true.
Don't want to use the Lord's name in vain, but my word, that would have been on the front page, back page, medium page.
We
there'd
know
have been
why.
shows running for 3 days.
Yeah. We know why things that are said, even the disgusting comments that Ratcliffe had with regards to the problems in England or immigration, like that in itself would still be living in the news cycle right now.
You wonder why our owners are not looked at in a good way. When the owner of Man United is talking about people from foreign lands like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're saying our face don't fit. I'm sorry. 2 and 2 makes 4. And people can hide behind their little things and they can deny it all they want. The problem is people will always slip up. The difference is Radcliffe's slipping up a lot.
He is.
He just can't keep his gob shut.
I want to bring it back conversation wise as well. And everybody in the chat, good looking out. Continue to hit that like button, subscribe. This is usually 115, one question, 15 minutes. I'm going through a timeline I want to share because, again, I like crushing. I like dismissing. I like changing what are wrong narratives and correcting it. The whole myth, the whole conversation about no history, about City only winning because of such and such. I like to bring up, well, let's look at history. Is anything different? Is what's happening to City anything different than what we've seen in previous years when clubs
were
their dominance?
Clubs won.
All the clubs with the influx of dough had their moments to dominate. If it happened earlier for you than for me, it's not saying that yours means more. And again, this ain't a shot at Liverpool fans because I know that quote happens to be yours. It means more at Liverpool. I get all that. But you look at by 1961, was it really that long ago? 1961, you had Arsenal with the most English titles. They had 7. Still tight.
Pre-Premier League.
Yeah, still pre-Prem. Absolutely. So you look at that. You look at they got their 7. Aston Villa still had their 6 for a while now. Sunderland had their 6. Everton's creeped up. United's creeped up there. Liverpool as well. Now,
can you just pull up Darcy's comment? I'm going to break some news to you right now. That maybe I've sat on for 7 years.
All right. Oh, you know what? Yeah, absolutely. Let me shout out.
I'll break it on yours.
Shout out to MCFC Darsh in the bill, and he goes, Martin, of all these people like Goldbridge and etc., didn't talk about the Ratcliffe comments back then, since they were contracted to companies that are connected to their club. They fear it.
Yep. Right. As many people know, I used to be on another channel, Man TV, before I ventured out and started my own venture. So, yeah, I've done this YouTube gig for quite a while. I'm one of the unks in the YouTube gig. actually.
Great word.
Because,
Great word.
we interviewed I won't name him. We interviewed a journalist and a former referee. And we had to do it very incognito. We weren't allowed to put the name out. We weren't allowed to. We had to muffle their voice and all sorts.
Okay. Oh, like a 2020.
I had the recording for a number of years, and we had to get rid of it under. The reason I can do it because the NDA, them was passed now.
Okay.
Still can't name him, but all that's passed because it was so long ago now. We were confirmed to there are certain media outlets that are contracted to say certain things. So, like you just said, the reason you reminded me when you said about his Darcy's comment. So, for example, yes, someone like a Goldbridge may have a contract and he's not allowed to say that.
Right.
So, for example, say I had a deal with City and I was doing work low key from City. I know people think I do, but I'm not. Because believe it or not, people at United will contact Goldbridge.
Mm-hmm.
People at Arsenal speak to AFTV. Yeah? We all know this. We all know that goes on.
Yep.
There are certain things they are told to stay away from and certain things they are told to push more.
Yes.
That actually goes on. We had that confirmed by a journalist and a former referee.
I'm not surprised.
That was confirmed. There is a clique within the Premier League. Our City part. The one thing I will say against City are trying to be in that clique. That I won't deny. City are trying to be in the clique.
Well, yes, City.
Well, they're not. They're not really wanting to be in the clique. They're not wanted there. That makes sense.
Well, I'll put it this way: you don't want to be on the other side of the fence, having to deal with the harsh wilderness and.
Can I be crude? Vale? In my old Mancunian English way, he's waiting for the wait button. You'd rather be on the inside pissing out than on the outside pissing in.
True, very true, very true.
That's the way this game works.
Yeah,
like Pep said, there are no friends in this game.
Hey! Hold on. You don't need to do that. Shout out to the soundboard.
Like Julio Cesar said, there are not in this world. There are not enemies or friends. There are just interest. All
right. See, hey, there you go. You hating on my soundboard and my soundboard coming in clutch there, right? Admit it, Martin.
I don't.
Say you like the soundboard.
When you go on the
like the soundboard.
When you go on the catch up.
No,
when you go on
say you like the
YouTube class on the soundboards.
Before you say that,
you clash on your soundboards. You're fighting for it.
Oh my goodness!
I'm doing it today. No, I'm doing it. You're doing it.
I just want you to say you like.
Oh, you and Stafford. Could you imagine you, Staffy, and Cats together, or just the three of you on a show? It'd be a forever-ending turntable of soundboards.
No, you know what? The etiquette is whoever's hosting gets soundboard control, but that's how it works. Now, if you want, I mean, we're good. If there's particular sounds that you want, we could talk backstage, and I can have those ready for when we do Stateside Blues.
Oh, I'll get you one. All
right. Yeah. You get you.
The
if there's particular sounds.
The bottled it again.
All right, will that be your voice? You want to record? You know what? No, hold on. We're doing this live on the show. If you want a voice note to be played, like a certain, we could have a Martin sound. There could be a Martin or a Mancunian sound that's played. Like, so you think about it.
And as always, of the blues.
There you go. We got it. Listen, this conversation about winning fatigue is where I'm gonna fast track. I've loved this conversation. You guys have been amazing in the chat.
Sorry, I told you this is my wheelhouse. You know me on this strain. You know me on this thing.
No, it's all good.
I get into it too much.
It's all good. I got OK in the building. OK goes Vader defending soundboard more than Egal defending Arteta. Martin's been attacking my soundboard as of late. I don't know why. I think I've been modest with the amount of usage I've had, but maybe the volume.
Spartacus is there. There's a question.
Spartacus,
who
the
defends
statistician.
more? No, he's not. He's Donnarumma hater. So is it more Donnarumma hate or your soundboard? Who defends more? Which one?
No, I think you know what Spartacus is calm with the soundboard. He does, and again, his point with regards to Donnarumma, I'm paying a lot more attention to. And Spartacus,
You shouldn't stop.
No,
don't encourage it.
No, I'm paying attention because I want to see whether the pattern that he's highlighting is as consistent or as prevalent as what he's saying. But
he's sat there foaming at the mouth, right?
Trust me. I think but what I'm going to ask Spartacus is in the it was Real Madrid Benfica game. I think it might have been the 71st minute. Spartacus, if you can go and see, there's a pattern to play. I'm going to go back and look to it, but there was a build-up from back to front that I think we can replicate very easily at Manchester City. But I want to clip it up. I want to share it to him. And it's something that I'm going to continue to email and send over to Manchester City because I think I'm doing my best to try to get a sit down with Pep. But there's a pattern to play that I think we could replicate. Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
You've been doing that for 2 years.
I'm going to continue to do it. But
Pep's not listening. The club out.
Pep's got to listen to me. But I want to fast forward this real quick and show, because we look at by 1968, you've got Arsenal on 7, Liverpool on 7, United on 7 with regards to English titles. City won their second. This, if we want to timestamp things, let me move my microphone. This is where the arrogance, in my opinion, happens. This is where the entitlement of the Red Cartel happened. At this point in time, we look at City won their second, but at this time you have a congested at the top, the 3 Red Cartel clubs all having 7 English titles. And this is the spark in time where we think about...
But you had Everton, Villa, Sunderland, Newcastle. Everyone had won titles.
Everybody had won titles. The grouping of winning more than 5. So, and then when we look at what happens, 1968, Everton, Arsenal, Derby County, Liverpool, Leeds. We can't forget Leeds. Derby County were legit as well in terms of one of those that were
under Clough. Yeah, they were under Clough. They were. Yeah. And we see a separation, right? We see a separation of Liverpool and the number of titles that I got another ad. The number of titles that they go on to win. And this is where I want to emphasize, your clubs just happen to have their success earlier than others. And when I say success, I mean we've all won titles, but in terms of being that dominant and having many, this is where it's spanning from. And this is 10 years before the Prem. This is 10 years before the Prem. You got United, this is 1982. 10 years before the Prem actually kicks in, and you have Liverpool with 12 English titles. So I think, and I'm gonna revisit this with the conversation as time goes on, but I'm glad I was able to have the conversation with Martin and hopefully everybody in the chat. I would rather us not just accept us. Yeah, we won the lottery. I would rather, because the connotation to it, the context to it is, oh, we're only here because we were lucky enough to have owners to want to invest in the club. It could have been anybody else. Those clubs all over here that have their many English titles, they won the lottery then. You just won the lottery in the 40s, in the 30s, Arsenal. You just won the lottery in the 60s. That's it. I happened to win the lottery in the 2000s.
That's all that it is. And I'm not gonna take it as I'm not taking it as a slight. I'm tired of that. We're all grown now. As kids, oh, it's funny. Ha, I get it. It's boring.
This is why we have to fight back. This is what I'm saying, Beto. We have kept quiet for too long.
Fair.
As a fan base, we have bent over and we have taken it year upon year upon year upon year. And because we're winning, we've allowed it. You saw it yesterday. Kieran Maguire says potentially a 40 to 60 point ban if found guilty. And the amount of shows that are running City are guilty was unreal.
Yeah. But here's the thing, Martin. Here's the thing. And I said this early before you joined. The amount of shows that were on the topic, it's not surprising when I heard Judge Mo say that, part of his process, right? Part of his channel management is what's trending.
Yes.
So imagine him and 5-10 other people doing the same thing. Everybody that's chasing the algorithm, chasing the engagement.
And that's the difference, yeah. Because I spoke with Mo privately and he said that to me.
Yeah, well,
and I know that's what Terry's doing. It's what Terry's doing. It's what Hassan was doing. It's what all these YouTubers are doing. And I get it. But then don't tell me City is irrelevant. We don't care about Icolo City. Because you do care about us. You want us gone. I get it. But the simple fact is, there's not one Manchester City fan who has ever said that they would accept anything if we're guilty. We're not sat here saying, if we're guilty, nothing should happen to us. Nobody's ever said that. Yeah, all we've ever said is, innocent until proven guilty.
Facts.
There is a difference. If we are guilty, we will deal with it as a fan base. Because here's the thing. What really irks me most is it'll affect Arsenal, United, Liverpool, and all these other teams marginally. This is our club.
Yeah.
This is not just going to affect us. This will hurt us, destroy us. So it's not something to be laughed at and joked about, because we're the ones who have to live with that forever. Yeah. We know if we're found guilty, the tag that is above our head. We know we are downtrodden as cheaters forever.
I want to say this real quick, because Herb will bring this up, and he goes, they never ask, what if City are found not guilty, as in innocent? Exactly. I think it would be as detrimental for the league as it would be for us. It's a great point, Herbal. And the funny thing is, that question does not get the engagement.
No,
asking that question does not get the fever in the chat. Does not get some of the children that are 115 and just spamming it. That doesn't get the engagement that's out there. To have a balanced conversation, right? To play the quote-unquote devil's argument, to be the quote-unquote non-biased host that many claim to be, well, instead of, and again, I'm not going to tell anybody how to run their show, how to run their channel. You do what you do. Again, many look at the success and they say, okay, I'm going to repeat that, whatever. This channel, my channel, is the way it is because this is how I want to speak. This is how I want to engage. So it is what it is. You mess with me, great. You don't. But a true balanced conversation cannot be achieved when you're chasing engagement. A true balanced conversation cannot be achieved if you're being fair. A true balanced conversation cannot be 70% negative on said club, Manchester City, and 30% positive, if that happens to be.
It's not a debate. It's not a debate. A debate is two sides.
Or what I often hear is, I talk positively about Holland, about Pep, about the success. Oh yeah, you speak on that for 2 minutes, and then you're gonna run for 30 minutes the other way. That is not balanced. That is not unbiased. That is not a true conversation. So again, run your channel the way you want your channel. But when things get phrased in terms of being the most balanced, the most unbiased, the fairest, stop it. Stop it. Fair is 50-50.
If we say anything back, we're victims. We're playing the underdog. What we get is this. People say to me, and by the way, this is true. Because I'm annoyed on this. So sorry. I've had people, YouTubers, say to me, "Can you get me more City fans on shows?" I said, "What do you mean?" They went,
Yeah.
"Well, a lot of City fans won't come on my show because maybe the way you talk about the football club and the way your chat engages with City fans, it's not exactly the most inviting area for a City fan to come and embrace and have a conversation on." I was on a show last week, and the opening line was "F Manchester City." Where can I go with that? Where do I go with that conversation? F Manchester City was the opening line. Where do I go with that, mate? There's nowhere I can go. Because what that then does, and then someone said to me, we're talking about 115. Someone went, "Martin, you're being emotional." You're damn right I'm being emotional. You're damn right I'm going to be emotional on this. You're wanting to send my club to the North Standards Vauxhall Park. You're damn right I'm going to be emotional.
Yeah. I happen to think, and this is where it doesn't, again, those of you in the chat, hopefully you understand. And I don't want to come across preachy or anything like that. But I don't get provoked anymore the way I used to, because the underlying goal or nature is the channel. Like, how do I explain it? When I know the hosts of said channels are doing it not for the conversation, they're doing it for what will spike viewership or will spike engagement or will spike subscribers, it gets very different, right? Let me put it this way. If the conversations of finance or the conversations of legality or the conversation of I don't know, let's even talk about Prem rules. Like, if it was like, hey, I want to have these conversations because I want to put that content out there, I want people to consume it, it would be done regardless of chasing the engagement numbers. If it was to have a balanced conversation. I know I'm talking very ultra...
Talking anything pro Manchester City or any other channel that's not a City channel does not.
No, but not even. But I'm saying not even pro.
Or balance.
A balance, yeah. Balance. That's not
doesn't
best for business. Yeah, that's not best for business. Engagement.
People want to talk about how great Arsenal are. You know, Man United win a few games and you've heard their fan base now and everyone's talking about it again. Yeah. And Liverpool are this. And they use it as a flex. They go, yeah, because Liverpool are more. They haven't realised yet, you would get so much engagement from Manchester City fans if you treated us with a little bit more respect.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you have to bend over and say how great we are. No one's saying that. What we're saying is let's have a balanced conversation
and
without
you know what?
115 cheaters everywhere. That's pointless.
Martin, I would take that away and also say I don't even need the conversation. I don't even need it to be respectful. I'll be honest with you. But if we're gonna have a conversation, I wouldn't want it to be 80% clowning, talking down on my club, and
I'll be back in 1 minute. I'm still at.
No worries. Do your thing. I wouldn't want it to be 80% my club being attacked, my club being talked this and that, and there's only 20% rebuttal. That's not what I would want. I would want it to be a case of, okay, if you're gonna be real, you're gonna have me on your show, we're gonna have a conversation. Let's do it 50-50. And if many wonder why, Vader, you're very different on your channel than when you are on when I'm featured on said other channels. It's because, you know what, I know the time that I have, and I'm not going to waste my time actually having a proper conversation because the time doesn't allow for it. So I'm going to do the narratives. I'm going to do the combating the myths. I'm going to do the, you know what you're saying, those agenda points for my club. I'm killing all of that. I'm doing that over there, and if you're balanced, is having it over here. I know that the time does not allow for it to happen elsewhere, and that's kind of like how it's been. Because I've been asked that, like, why are you that way there and you're this way here? It's because I know the amount of time that's available, and honestly, I know how people kind of tune in as well for what they want on said channels. But I wanted to also, and again, you guys have been incredibly amazing. Spartacus, the 77th minute, I think something around there. Yeah, it was Benfica and Madrid, and there was movement back to front. And this, we'll talk about it, but this is what I think it's something we can do on either side of the pitch when we're locked in, and the movement that we can have with our midfielders and our wingers on how they move and run angles. But yeah, we'll talk about it another time. I got Herbal in the building. Apologies for not being fully caught up with the convo. Herbal goes, allegedly, we tried to bring in an independent regulator, and that's why they chose to bring the charges. At least that's a conspiracy I've heard. No, so City were one of the clubs were four. We were for an independent regulator because we're like, take it out of the hands of this whole bias. Let's have someone independent. No, you know what? They look at things and they judge it their way. City were one for it, many were against it, and it was also
the tyranny of the majority was the wording City used.
Was the wording, and there was the league trying to show that they could regulate themselves, and for them to show that they could regulate things themselves, they said, "Look, here's what we have on Manchester City," and an example of them flexing to be able to be their own regulators. Spartacus is replying to what I was saying earlier. Sure, we can do that, but the thing is that none of Madrid or Benfica were doing man-to-man. No. I know it's a separate conversation. It wasn't necessarily man-to-man, but I was from a build-up standpoint, from a movement standpoint. That's why I mentioned it. But good looking out. New York in the building. New York goes, the whole point of the charges was public smear campaign. So at this point, it's mission accomplished, regardless of outcome. And this is where the aftermath of what happens post 115 is going to be really interesting, because I think City fans might be disappointed. No, I know, but I think City fans are going to be disappointed to see how win-win City are going to be. I don't think City go on the offensive with regards to the Prem, but I think this is my conspiracy, if I'm going to say anything. I think a big reason to why things have been delayed so much is because the wording to keep face for both parties is the tricky part. We saw how, when it came to how it happened with the APT, right? Associated Party Transactions. APT. Yeah. We saw on how City came out and said, win for City, look at what outlined here. And then you had the Prem do the same thing, win for Prem, I think to avoid this, who's right, who's wrong, they are going through, here's how everything needs to be worded, here's how all of these charges that were dropped and why they didn't net out to be punished or to be wrong and how they were stated. All that is getting outlined, because it will have to be a win-win. It will be a disaster if not, and it's going to be long. But guys, I can't believe 1 hour 26 minutes. See what happens when I invite Martin on? When I invite Martin on, we got a conversation that goes way beyond the 115, the one question 50 minutes, but I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I want to pause it right here, and I would actually, this could be a two-parter, to be honest with you, because to get into the crux of why I want to emphasize the winning fatigue that happens to be happening for Manchester City, and I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to stop it here at the beginning of the Prem. Before the Prem kicks off, right? This is actually the first year of the Prem, right? They won it. But 1992 is when the Prem kicked off. At the point of the Prem, Liverpool had 18 English titles. Arsenal had their 10. All right? At the spark of it. And you had Everton at 9, United having 8. There was, and this is where I want to link up with Grandpa. Hey, I own it. I'm an unk. I want to link up with Grandpa. Grandpa, what was the energy like? And you guys help me out if you know, please.
I think Magnus is in the comments.
I don't believe so.
House captain.
I don't know if House is still here. Yeah, House is still here. Yeah, House goes. House goes. The beginning of the Prem was also about money too. 100%.
That's your grandpa. That's your grandpa.
Okay. I mean, he's House. I know his House. I don't know his grandpa.
House captain, my grandpa. No,
yeah, he's calling you grandpa. Mad disrespectful. I'm gonna. Where's my shots fired? Where's my shots fired?
Shots fired! Shots fired!
But when it comes down to what was the energy like, what was the conversation like, with the number of Liverpool titles, what was it in terms of, you know what? Who was maybe the, I'm not gonna say Cinderella, but who was the, hey, go and disrupt that. If you guys could win it, it wouldn't be so bad. And I'm talking majority. Obviously, direct rivals are not gonna want a United to win versus a Liverpool, right? But what were the others? What were the majority of the others thinking? This is where I want to get at. I'm gonna pause this show right here because we can see what life was like before the Prem and who was obviously at the top of that perch. Who was encouraged to knock them off there? Who was, hey, let's see different winners. And we'll see what happens when there happens to be a new winner on the next show with regards to 115. I'm going to say this right from the
top. We can talk Standard Charter. We can talk Littlewoods. We can talk hacking youth systems. We can talk transfer bungs and brown envelopes. See, all sorts of things.
Now, Martin is classic. Everybody in the chat, you guys have been amazing. I see the numbers. I hope all of you have hit that like button. I'm also want to be privy because
I'm doing my normal. Let's get another 5 minutes.
You're doing your normal, extending the show, which he's classic in doing. Martin is a classic.
Can I just say one thing? I'm sorry. I'm going to say one thing.
You're going to say one thing.
And I don't care if people come after me. But you know what? City fans have got to come together. I've said this loads. Come together as one. Let's support each other's channels. Bollocks to all the other ones. If Terry wants to be a City hater, we know he's a City hater. He's a rag. We know. He's not going to say anything good about Manchester City. Why? Because that's why he has one Manchester City record.
Facts. And the funny thing is, as you say that, I want to say this. It's also important. From a representation standpoint, all right, I'm going to a couple things before you go, because I failed to do this a previous show. But when it comes down to we all have our plus and minuses. From a defending the club, being on the offensive, putting rivals in their place, I very much appreciate when I see Blues do it, when I see Martin do it when he's featured on shows, when I see LB do it when he's featured on shows, when I see Professor Hamza do it when he's featured on shows, and obviously when I see it on obviously the biggest platforms, when I see Steve, obviously Big Steve, do it on shows, I'm very appreciative. This is where we do it. There's not many of us that also do that. I do it in my little part, but when it comes down to Martin said earlier,
can't even turn up for stateside every week, this fella.
I'm not fighting anybody on stateside. What do you mean? But when it comes down to us as a fan base pushing back against the narratives and the agendas, I do agree with Martin. We do need to be doing more of that, and it doesn't need to be coming from a.
There's a couple of shows that I do, and I'm not sure whether I will continue and move forward. But if I do, I'm going to fight, and I'm going to fight fire with fire. I don't care anymore. They're going to get both barrels out of me now. and I'm going to start
Fair.
dropping some facts on them. And if
I
they
would
don't
encourage
like
you.
it, tough titter.
I would encourage you. Wait for the alert. Wait for their to take the shot first.
Well,
Wait for them.
let me get my hospital trip out of the way first. Let me
Fair,
get me
fair,
up
yeah,
out
yeah.
of the way, and then I'll be back. I'll be back in 7 to 10 days when I've had me up.
All right, he's gonna come back like the $1 Million Man, and he's gonna be taking.
They're
out
going
all
in to see if they can find the brain.
Okay, man, this guy's ridiculous. I wanna emphasize everybody. Thank you for being a part of this show. Again, conversation wise, I want to continue to have it. I honestly do, and think what we're seeing right now in this era, in this time, in this moment, is Manchester City winning fatigue by rivals. They're tired of what this has become. They never wanted us at the table to begin with. They tried to put up the fence, the drawbridge, whatever you want. They tried, and it didn't stop us, and they resent us for us. They don't want us here. They haven't. They still don't. And when they talk about the good old days, when they want to talk about, just listen to how they talk about clubs and who deserves and who doesn't. I'm looking forward to having this conversation again. We're gonna do post prem. You saw a little bit of fast track, a little bit of preview of back in the day, but again, not with regards to house. But I want to have the grandpa convo in terms of what was the energy like, what was it like with regards to Liverpool and their level of dominance. How was it spoken about by the media? Who was encouraged? Who was labeled as the new upstarts, and this is a good thing. This is what I want to get at. So everybody, good looking out. I see my man Mike Dawes in the building saying big up. I'm seeing others just joining as well. You guys have been amazing. You catch me as I'm shutting things down. This is Vader Games. I had Mancunian Martin in the building. Martin, before you go, anything you want to reference with regards to your team and what they have going on today or tomorrow?
Yes, Thursday night chat tonight, 8:30. Please go and show the lads a lot of support. I won't be there. I'm not even going to do a hit. I am back tomorrow, 2 p.m. Final one from me for 7 to 10 days. 2 p.m. tomorrow. The 90 minutes with Tone and Martin is back.
Okay. Tone and Martin are back. What, may I ask, what kept Tone away? What was happening with Tone?
Just idiots.
Hey, simple as that.
This game
You're
too
chopping up.
serious, and they hide behind little accounts. Oh, I'm
Okay.
chopping up. Sorry, they hide behind little accounts because they sit in their bedroom dreaming of mummy. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Everybody, Vader Games TV 115. One question.
I'm still
50
there,
minutes.
but dropped.
Obviously, you are still here. Obviously, more than 50 minutes on an amazing conversation with regards to the winning and the history and what happens. I'm fighting back with regards to City win the lottery. That narrative, that agenda is dead. We're not doing that. We see when these clubs were able to go and do their thing, what money
City
did for them.
won the lotto. City won the
But
lotto.
we're out of here, shutting it down. Enjoy this outro as I make my way out. Previous thumbnails.
Big up, Paul. Smash those likes, and let's get Vader to 2K. Come on, show him a
Let's
lot
make
of
it
love.
happen. Enjoy this outro. We'll catch you.